In order to prove that I am not a pervert, my elder sister fell downstairs and became disabled in order to prevent me from marrying my fiancé. Later, I was killed by the collusion of my fiancé and my good brother. The dog couple revels at my funeral and plans how to spend my inheritance. My paraplegic sister hunted and killed them all over the earth like crazy. She was covered in blood and carried the heads of the two men to my corpse. Then she hugged me, touched my head and murmured beside me, "Sister Han has been living all her life." When my fiancé hugged me and taught me to add ecstasy to the water my sister drank, I pushed away the woman with a disgusting smile. What could my sister do wrong? My sister, she just loves me too much. Gu Han, when the time comes, you will put this thing into your sister's drinking cup. Your sister will definitely be undefended against you. This will bring down an elephant. When your sister falls asleep, I will go away together tonight. Okay. The opposite person gently pinched my wrist, but my thoughts were not on her body, and my eyes were falling behind her. The shadow of the Sephora japonica tree was shaking. My elder sister, dressed in white dress, was carrying a kitchen knife at my door. Her eyes were overcast and she looked at us. When she realized that I was really reborn, my elder sister had dragged me to the house. She was holding a kitchen knife in her left hand and fumbled at the door with her right hand. She probably didn't touch the hemp rope, so she pulled off her hairband and tied my wrist. Not allowed to be seen in UAE. UAE is my fiancé, the woman elder sister who just let me put down my elder sister with anesthetic. I grabbed her finger and he paused. I felt sick even touching him on the last try. I made him hesitate for a second or two, then he covered my mouth with his backhand and shut up. If you dare to plead for UAE again, I will kill her. This was the case in the last life. My sister and I broke up slowly. I loved UAE miserably. I didn't know that UAE was already with my good brother when he was close to me. The two conspired to kill Pianbao. I really think UAE is my by Guan. However, my elder sister tried her best to stop it and told me that you is not a good person. I said a lot of harsh things to him at the moment of Qi and blood. Ruyan Liu, you are a pervert, imprisoning your brother. I don't want your sister. I only remember how pale my sister's eyes were that day. She looked like her mother, but there was always a shaky sense of breakage in her bones. He just tied me up in a bland way and said to me that dinner was my favorite dish of stewed tofu with fish head. When I recovered from the memory, I was already tied to a chair. My sister is cooking in the kitchen. My sister is indeed a mentally abnormal extreme control freak, but what's wrong with her? She just doesn't know how to love me. I was distracted for a moment. My sister came out of the kitchen and looked at me with her head down. What's the matter, sister? I looked up and smiled at her. Why not make a scene? Her voice was a little clear and dumb. In fact, my elder sister's voice was not dumb at all before. She shouted dumb when she worked for others in order to support me. You don't have to tie up my sister. I gently said to her, I will never run away again. I will accompany you and cure the disease in your heart. But my elder sister just looked at me coldly with her head bowed. Too hard to be soft. My sister thinks I still want to run, but she doesn't know. What she couldn't stand the most was that I gave up on her and she turned away. I cleared my throat to relieve the pain. 3 seconds later, I was sitting in front of the chair in good condition. My sister squatted in front of me, as if I had broken my limb. Where does it hurt? Do you want to go to the hospital? I didn't mean it. She wanted to touch me but didn't dare to touch me, because I yelled at her loudly before and told her not to touch me, so she didn't dare to disobey me when I was angry. My fingertips flashed over her soft black hair. She stood there and looked at me with shocked eyes that she hadn't seen in 800 years. I looked down at the corner of her eye. I'll protect you in my life. I'm serious. Since I'm reborn, UAE and my good brother, the two rotten people, don't want to live well. Why did they dirty my sister's hands after my death? Gu Han, didn't I ask you to give you a cure yesterday, next to the wheat shop? Yu Yang frowned at me. In the last life, my obsession with UAE was as if she had dropped her head, so his attitude towards me was always bossy. If you don't put you to sleep tonight, you can't expect me to go away with you. In the last life, I just listened to her and gave me the medicine, but I don't know if my sister has a good drug tolerance. Halfway she woke up struggling to chase me, stumbled and jumped off the stairs, breaking a leg. I still remember my sister's eyes were so red that day, but he still wanted to keep me lying on the ground. He yelled at me, don't come back, they're bad people. He lost his voice and believed that his sister would not cheat his brother until he died. But at that time, I only thought she was a control freak who wanted to lock me up in her room for the rest of my life. Yue probably thought I had other ideas threatening me, so I should be anxious. As a result, I didn't raise my eyebrows and asked him, won't this medicine kill my sister? And my good brother Jibwa did happen to sit beside me with a popsicle. It's very simple. Just watch your sister fall asleep. Besides, she is a scum. Those who deserve to die will hunt down the two culprits after my death and hunt them to the ends of the earth. Those who deserve to die will drag a disabled leg and avenge the younger brother who does not listen to him and beware of him everywhere. Is my sister a bad person? Can I not know? I can't wait to cut these two people in front of me to pieces right now, but now is not the time. I stared at the bag of ecstasy in my hand. I already have a plan in my heart. You go to Yue again. As soon as I entered the door, I was caught. Her small nose was sucking beside me, breathing lightly. My elder sister smells of Sephora japonica. Liu Ruyan's face is very white under the Japanese lamp. Her facial features are very bright and colorful, like ink sprinkled on a white paper inkstone by force. Sister, I am not shut up. He rudely broke my bone against my cheek, and the strange touch stirred my trembling, but this time I didn't hide. I suddenly felt that my sister was very much like a tattered doll she was sure to pick up. She was still a dog that didn't belong to her. I smiled, my fingers flicked her bangs, and then I suddenly stopped. It was very hot, especially hot. My sister has a fever. Only then did I notice that her face was paler than before. She looked at me stubbornly, even though she felt so uncomfortable. Why don't you go to the hospital? I pulled her a little, trembling, her voice cold and dumb. You promised me to come back at 6, I have to wait for you. The hour had already pointed to 9 o'clock in the evening, and I was shocked. In order to deal with my own affairs, I forgot the time appointed with him, but my elder sister, like that fool, has to move back even if her head is burned out. My sister was lying on the sofa, and he looked at me with that shocked look, because I was going to cook dinner for my sister. This was the first time in my life that I cooked dinner for my sister. I was very good at cooking. In my last life, in order to please Yue, I changed my way to bring her food, but I often scoff at my sister. That's why I didn't know until many years later that my elder sister, a pervert, had hidden half of the bread I had eaten for a long time. The temperature of lifting the dried scallop porridge was just right. I blew it and scooped a spoonful to my sister's thin lips. My elder sister stared at me, her eyes full of suspicion that I had drugged her. Do you want to eat? I calmly asked. He bit the spoon and hung his eyelids, a little strange. It is hard for me to imagine how he cut off the heads of Yue and my good brother in such a thin arm with visible blood vessels. Sister, have you thought about our future? When my sister was drinking porridge, I gently opened my mouth and said to her, I am about to graduate, and your job is not stable. We can sell our current house and move to the seaside. I want to open a flower shop. Once I never saw my sister about my future plans. The most I said to her was to tell her to get out. It was clear that she raised me and he gave up everything for me. Sister, don't you like flowers? I close to her, but you always have the smell of Sephora japonica. Before I could finish, she had already raised her hand and grabbed my chin. The way my sister looked at me was always bright and engraved with possessiveness. What are you trying to say? Is the seaside florist convenient for you to escape? Don't lie to me, okay? Ji Han, you know that in a new environment, the first thing you have to do is to throw me away. He is telling the truth. If I had been in my last life, I would have done it. My sister is like an animal who has been bitten by a snake for 10 years and is afraid of a well-rope. I want her to believe me again. She thinks I am a poisonous snake that tempts her to devour evil consequences. Too many times before, I cheated her out of nothing. In the empty room, I looked at her silently. Do you want to prove it? How can my sister prove it by staring at me? I asked him. The lights flashed and went out, and the room was completely dark. Soon I knew how my sister wanted me to prove it. I was pulled close by a hot hand, and then he pinched my chin. Her lips were really hot first. He was hot everywhere. The root of my tongue was almost numb. Her lips fell down my eyebrow eyes, and she touched her senses with a temperature that did not belong to normal people. My sister probably never imagined that when she blocked her lips and teeth, I would kiss her back. So my elder sister's breathing disorder, she snapped my chin, took her forehead against my forehead and rubbed me lightly in pursuit of his low nan in the dark night. It seemed as if at that moment to understand who was in distress, so to prove Don't leave my sister. I washed the last bowl in the kitchen. My sister is in the living room. In fact, I was running away. I did it too fast. My sister and I did things we hadn't done in our previous lives. I know that my elder sister's feelings for me are definitely not limited to family affection. We are not related by blood, but all the time she looked at me to the extreme. She wanted to act but did not dare. She did not know how to see her. Even if I lived for 2 lifetimes, the result was just when I was thinking about it. My elder sister pushed open the door and walked in as if nothing had happened. What's the mouth? He held a cup of hot milk in his hand and handed it to my lips. I did have the habit of drinking milk before going to bed, but it seemed that my sister had drunk it. I took a sip along her lipstick. Elder sister, I called him. What do you have to practice kissing skills? He failed. I said. I turned back, then bowed my head and kissed him on the corner of the lip. Sister, now that you believe me, I will not escape. You see me like this, but you still just look at me like this and open everything to you. My head suddenly became heavy. I looked up at her with an unknown look. My head was dizzy. My sister held my cheek in the milk, her fingers rubbed against my eyelids, and I couldn't move. I heard my sister's voice coming from far away. You did a good job this time, Han Srauhan, but you shouldn't have put the medicine in such a conspicuous position. You almost killed your sister. My elder sister seems to have misunderstood. I put the ecstasy there to test the source. I have to find evidence of you always crime, but it seems that my elder sister mistakenly thought that I was going to drug her. What I did just now was also regarded by her as a huge self-sacrifice. I wanted to explain, but I couldn't say anything. My eyelids were getting heavier and heavier. What is this? I want to reach out and get rid of willow smoke. I hate my sister so much. Do you want to cheat the second time after cheating once? The brain feels groggy, the neck is tied to something, can't breathe, the whole body can't move. I was untied by me, elder sister. I looked at him helplessly. You have to give me a chance to explain. Liu Ruyan hung down and looked at me expressionless. My elder sister is relatively tall among girls. She looks very thin, like fragile colored glaze in the world, but she is very strong. Whether she dealt with a pair of men and women in her previous life or her silent and cold white phalanges in this life. Elder sister, I called her to shut up and shouted again. My elder sister leaned over to smell me. Her eyelashes were quite long and fell on my eyelids. It was itchy and I couldn't move. But I felt that even my elder sister's gentle teasing me couldn't stand it. Because I liked her, I was forced to respond to her. However, when my nasal cavity was full of my elder sister's breath, cautious reason pulled me back from the abyss and sobered me up. I'm not here to practice kissing with my sister. I coughed, and she loosened me a little discontentedly and patted my back gun down. Who needs more steady practice? He spoke very blunt, obviously adding anger. He thought I lied to him, but I didn't. So I also angry. You don't believe me. If Yue gave it to me, he wanted me to enchant you. I took the medicine and just wanted to send it to the testing agency for testing. You don't believe me? I held my head high and looked at her. When I rubbed my belly and was ready to kiss me again, I knew that my explanation belonged to the level of left ear to right ear. I'm Jinkai. He raised his eyebrows and let out a cry. He wanted the spoon to be tested, not to poison his sister. Ji Han, do you want to say that you did all this for me, but did you love your sister even a little? Her eyebrows were cold, but her eyes were so hasty that they were almost broken. I opened my mouth and could not say anything. After all, in order to escape from Ruyan Liu, I had done shameless things such as adding sleeping pills to her breakfast, stuffing lime in her pencil case, slandering her for stealing, calling the police to arrest her, etc. It can be said that my elder sister has a bad reputation in the neighborhood, and half of it is my credit. She, who just wiped my ass, failed to change her opinion of me for a while. I can bear it first. So one of my donkeys gave Ruyan Liu a kiss. My sister's lips were very soft. She froze and her eyes looked like a colorful picture of indifferent flowers. So I unsealed it. My head hit the mattress and he put my palm on the bed. Because our movement sank a little, I catered to him, found her fingers and clasped them with her fingers. She kissed me on the neck and said, "You are going to torture my sister to death." I think my ancestors owed Ruyan Liu a lot of things. I am not sure I can cure her all my life, but I can really promise to accompany her to torture each other to death. My sister cooks delicious food. If my hands are not tied and he feeds me another bite, I think it will be better. Elder sister, Ji Han, the last time you did this, you almost sent your elder sister to the bureau. He was indifferently narrating a fact, but my leg rubbed against my elder sister's calf under the table. She froze for a moment. My hand climbed to her cheek, pure feeling. If my sister hadn't just pressed me on the bed, I would have believed it. Elder sister, do you believe that there is fate in the dark? In fact, I had a dream last night, dreaming of the future. In the dream, I married Yu Wei. Please break a leg. Later, Yu Wei conspired with my Jibwa to kill me. You hunted them down for more than half of the earth. So I quite hate Yu Wei now. I stared into his eyes and said these words sincerely, but her face was expressionless and her beautiful eyes were like a mirror of the sky. I couldn't guess what she was thinking. Oh, yeah. He came close to me. What a coincidence. I also had a dream last night. In the dream, my younger brother wanted to escape from my sister at all costs. So he made up a beautiful lie, tricked my sister into being drunk and dreaming to death, and then got rid of my sister. I almost thought she was reborn, because in my last life I coaxed Ruyan Liu before drugging Ruyan Liu. I still remember that day when his eyes were red. He grabbed my wrist and hugged me tightly and said, Ji Han, you won't leave me, will you? You sure you won't leave me, right? So I drugged him that night and she broke her leg. If that's what my sister dreams about, it's normal for him to tie me down. I smiled at him twice. He frowned at me. Forget it. Sister, I will do whatever you want to me. I promised this is the last time I cheat Ruyan. When I take a bath, I set the water temperature to the lowest. When I blow my hair, it is not good for me to hit my head with cold air. When I felt cold and my nose was strange, I took a sniff and knew I was going to catch a cold. Whether I could have a fever or not depends on luck. I wiped my hair and came out of the bathroom. My sister was sitting on the sofa, staring at me with her black eyes. I walked over and made a dive. Although my movements were caught off guard, my elder sister still grabbed my wrist in time. My elder sister's eyes were firm and went to sleep like a nun. This is not like my elder sister's fingers were buckled by her. Why ignore me? Don't mess around and go to sleep. At the time of exit, her words were a little more warning. Elder sister, don't you like me being so kind to you? I sat next to her and stretched out my hand to touch her chin. Her pupil trembled obviously and snorted with a muffled snort. She was responding again. My sister, then I won't be so kind to you next time. You don't want me. Ruyan Liu, you see, it was you who suddenly blocked your brother's lips and teeth. What I wanted to say swallowed into my throat. This man didn't want his brother to speak again. Sometimes I feel sorry for my sister. I am the one who is locked, but she is the one who is trapped. Scared, sister, she nodded silently in my arms. You have been so abnormal recently. Ji Han's voice was hoarse. I was so scared. It was a trap, but you know what, even if you dig a hole in front of me and say to me with a smile, sister, if you jump down, sister will jump down desperately. In the middle of the night, I was so sad that I couldn't sleep. I knocked on my sister's door. Elder sister, I seem to have a fever. My vision is blurred. At that moment, a lot of things burst out of my mind. I think my elder sister is really good looking. Many people in the school should like it. My elder sister took me to the hospital without hesitation. She probed my forehead with her hand. I could feel her shaking. It was probably very hot. My sister is always panicked because of me. My sister is too perfect, so God gave her a weakness, that is, my sister's life is broken because of me. In the taxi, I leaned on my sister's shoulder. I really felt cold, so I hugged her tightly. It's hard for my sister's hand to be held by me, it's almost here. He's worried about whether I burn my brain. I really want to tell her that I'm fine. In fact, I did it on purpose, but I can't look at my sister's expression when she knows the truth. My elder sister took me to the emergency department in a panic. She put me on a chair in the hanging area of the hospital, straightened my collar, squatted in front of me and called me, Han Sauhan, I'll pay a fee and be right back. Be good, it won't be hard to lose water. I nodded, and he patted me on the head, hooked my collar, and kissed the corner of my mouth. I stared at her as she hurried away. My sister really wanted to come back to me early and turned around and slipped outside the hospital. In the boundless night, I really want to accompany my sister for the rest of my life. Maybe one day my sister will understand that I really love her, but I don't have much time left. I can't let Yue and Mahibo lose patience with me. I finally got some evidence of their crimes. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and the dawn is just about to break. I called Yue, but she didn't answer. It's also at this point. Who's not sleeping? At the same time, I can't help thinking, my sister found me not in, will be anxious. When I was very young, once my sister lost me in the shopping mall. I cried in the crowd. She broke away from the endless crowd and held me in her arms and trembled nervously. Every time after that, Burger could always find out where I was. Until she broke a leg in the previous life, her brother still left him without looking back. The ringing of the phone interrupted my memory. The incident was very small. I picked it up and you ran away. He was silent for a moment before he asked me, a little difficult for my sister, to be taken away by my sister, can you get me another copy? Don't worry, my elder sister has already taken off her guard against me. This time it will definitely work. In order to dispel Yue's suspicion, I had to pretend to hate my sister deeply, and today's Yue is also very strange. She seems to have used a voice changer, which is not very good. This shows that the balance micro began to doubt me, like dominoes. I was afraid to change the world completely because of some of my changes. How can I believe you, Yue? What else are you talking about with me? Believe, sure enough, Yue should have noticed something. I can only keep adding more and take a deep breath to say that sentence. I like you. Don't you know? She was silent for a long time, then asked me, what about your sister? I have to make sure you are not turned by your sister, a dog that flies around me. When he dies, I'll have to set off fireworks to celebrate. It's not what I said, it must be ironic. I closed my eyes and said silently in my heart, there seems to be finally relieved to me, give me an address, 876, South Street, pay attention to safety. Yue and my good brother Majibo are definitely engaged in some illegal activities. I even suspect that they have conspired to cheat other people's treasures before they met me. So when I went this time, I secretly turned on the recording mode of my mobile phone. I looked down at the screen of my mobile phone. My sister called me 45 missed calls. The connection place was an abandoned warehouse. Yue has always been cautious, obviously only eloping, but the whole as if engaged in illegal activities. In the last life, I didn't even product the truths. It was almost dawn, and the skylight came in through the window. I still felt groggy. I wanted to get some evidence to call the police and catch Yue and them. My sister's thoughts were suddenly disturbed and twisted in my mind. I began to think of her name uncontrollably. It turned out to be only a moment of betrayal. I could suffocate like this respectively. I didn't want to cheat my sister anymore. I really regretted it. I walked to the end of the factory. I froze there, a man tied to a chair and faltered, starting with danger, and behind him, my sister is playing with the phone card in her hand. At that moment, I suddenly realized that my sister had tied the fish to her and learned to solve the problem from the source. No wonder it was not Yue who answered the phone with a voice changer, but my elder sister. What did I say to my sister on the phone? I said that my sister didn't even bother to look at her. It was just a dog that was not pestering me. One day when he dies, I have to set off fireworks to celebrate. I'm finished. The morning sun raised a clear line between me and him. I froze there and felt my throat dry. Elder sister, she tilted her head and her beautiful eyes reflected it. Am I going to intercede for her? She kicked the person sitting in the chair in front of her. Yue was obviously scared silly and looked at me desperately for help. Elder sister said, first, I don't want to stand on his side, but we don't do illegal and criminal things, so you plead for him again. She interrupted me. Such a sister is so strange. I never thought my sister would look at me with that kind of eyes, plain, indifferent and silent, but what should I say? I explained. My sister didn't believe it. Then everything went on and on, eventually breaking the string between us. I thought my elder sister would be angry, fierce, and tie me up and go home to settle accounts, but she didn't. Her calm made me panic, like slowly falling into a pool of lifeless swamps. I heard him sigh, Han Saohan, do you know, I like you. I'm afraid of a lot of things, everything is about you. I'm afraid you get hurt, afraid you learn bad, afraid you go. These days I have been thinking about how much you hate me and make you hate me. I hated to the point of sacrificing myself. Only later did I know that if I dragged you hard, you would also leave. So Sao Han, I won't stop you. My elder sister pushed the woman. Chao Yang didn't catch up with her. I only caught her words. Please have a good time with him. Remember to go to the hospital. My elder sister won't send you. I stood there for half a ring before I could react. My sister didn't want me. In the empty factory building, Yu Wei was so moved that he almost cried. Han Sao Han, I knew you had me in your heart. Your sister is a pervert. You should call the police to catch her. I turned over the chair tied to him with 1 foot. Why Yu Wei did not dare to call the police because he was engaged in illegal activities. The woman whined behind me and asked me to untie her. I was ashamed. After a little ideological struggle for 2 or 3 seconds, I chased out of the factory and decided to chase my sister. Since I was a child, my elder sister has been coaxing me, so my elder sister can't help me. I don't know where my sister went and decided to go home to find her first. Now I can't get through to her cell phone. It's really a turn of fortune. I sat in the car and the editor asked for a long text message to her, and then deleted it word by word. I suddenly felt that I was infected by my elder sister, and I was going crazy. When I couldn't see her, my mind was full of her. I finally found my elder sister, not at home, but at the convenience store in front of my home. I stood on the front door of the store, but the first 2 steps were caged under the street lamp. There were few people in the convenience store in the morning. My sister dropped her eyelids and handed the contents to the clerk. The clerk was a very young man. He glanced at him with his eyes full of light. My sister bent her eyes and smiled at him. I stood in the doorway. The direction of the heart somewhere was a harder My elder sister went out of the store and was a little surprised. She looked at me with a ray of light falling on her eyebrow in the morning. I was standing on my elder sister's way, so she tilted her head. My sister looked at me like a stranger. I couldn't stand it anymore. The tail sound behind my sister changed. I looked at my sister with my eyes open. My pupils gradually dilated and everything in his hand fell to the ground. I looked at him until I felt my nasal cavity was blocked, then I realized that I was rushing to dream. As a result, the virus in my body was like a collective attack on me. My head swung fiercely, only to remember that I had been tossing around all night. I didn't even drop half a bottle of water. My consciousness gradually fell into drowsiness. At the last moment, I still heard my sister calling my name in panic. I felt that my eyes were blindfolded and the black cloth could not see anything. So my senses were magnified infinitely. Someone touched my head. It was my sister. I called her out loud. She was not Yin. I reached out and unbuttoned my neckline, all the way down. He rubbed my earlobe, was good, took my temperature and fed me. The demon blindfolded me as he caught his breath falling into my ear, magnified 10,000 times more than the usual touch. My heart is pounding and I want to punish you. I had a fever, sister. My wrist was tied by her very patiently, so I had to pursue her life, but he didn't make any noise. I could only catch the friction between the bed sheet and the cloth, and she took my wrist and wrapped the satin on it. It didn't hurt or sad, but it was very sour, just like my sister was to me. Elder sister, I was wrong. I could only beg for mercy from him. She gave me a gentle grace. I couldn't figure out his attitude and his sight was dark. He took the thermometer from my armpit and looked at the numbers above. What was wrong? I heard her ask me, I shouldn't have lied to you, shouldn't have contacted you, Yu Wei. But do you know, elder sister, I am looking for you, Yu Wei and them. I really want to give them a word. Before I finish speaking, a touch of warmth falls on my forehead. I think there is a high probability that my elder sister is taking her forehead. My body temperature is Jiu Han. I am not angry because you lied to me. You deliberately let yourself catch a cold. Jiu Han, do you understand me? Ruyan Liu said that everyone's world is different, and I am the only one in her world. So don't let sister sad, don't let sister pain. Okay, she kissed me on the shoulder of my neck. I'm afraid I won't be able to love you if I go crazy one day. I felt her gently shaking voice fade into a painful aftertaste. What can I do if you put the knife on my sister's neck or break her legs? I am willing to suffer, but you are ill, you are uncomfortable, you are uncomfortable. What do you want me to do? I'm going crazy. So please torture your sister a little more and don't hurt yourself. In retrospect, my elder sister has been like this in both my lives. Even if she is covered in blood, she will hold me. But I love your sister, you should trust me more, I love you too. This is like a sudden burst of fireworks, I can feel it. My elder sister was shocked. The next second I regretted it a little. My elder sister was too crazy to be restrained by physiological stimulation. At one moment, I finally knew my sister's pain. Her kiss fell on my heart and invaded and plundered. All creatures in the dark are like this, unable to crave light, so they always draw light from each other. When I was a child, I was afraid of the dark, afraid of falling into the invisible abyss, but if I explain the abyss itself, I am willing to fall into it. Elder sister, I unconsciously called her name. The black cloth was lifted by my elder sister. I looked into her eyes. Her eyes were clear and sparkling, like the most unchanging stars in the universe burning in my heart. His slightly hard-back teeth squeezed into the skin at the tip of my neck. You said your sister was your dog. What is this dog doing to you now? Also said that she does not bear grudges, he clearly bears grudges to death. The thin light of the morning fell on the bedding, and I moved my arms and was held tighter by me. My sister stalked me like an octopus, the bridge of his nose rubbed against my neck and shoulder. No, was it deliberately rubbed against the red mark? It hurt a little. Elder sister, I thought you were not willing to make me like this. He buried his smile in my neck and stirred my heart with a slightly heavy nasal sound. He didn't hold back. He was not sincere at all and gave you compensation. He turned over and sat across me. The morning light happened to fall on my sister's eyebrow eye. She squinted subconsciously and held my neck in her hand. I leaned over and bit on my sister's shoulder. I crushed my teeth. Thinking about how my sister did to me last night, I was a little angry, so I bit down hard. She hissed injured. I pinched her neck and she nodded obediently. I looked down at the teeth marks left on him. My teeth are so good. Billy is so beautiful. I haven't finished admiring them. My sister threw me on the bed, her sight sunk into darkness, her smell all around me, her kiss falling on my back, like the afterglow of the morning paint tail. It's killing me. My elder sister has caught a cold. She took it on her own. Neither she or I are in good health. Now I breathe smoothly. If she sees her coat sniffing, do you want to go to the hospital? I touched her forehead. It's okay. She rubbed my palm. It is very likely that there is a connection with an illegal pharmaceutical factory. Before you acted, I was already investigating him, but unfortunately I lacked a few key evidences. Sure enough, no matter in the last life or in this life, my elder sister has investigated too much. However, it is obvious that she has not been able to catch the flaw twice. However, my elder sister investigated her around watching illegal drugs, and Yue is probably still engaged in another more dangerous activity. I pulled my elder sister. I think Yue and my Jibwa are likely to conspire to cheat the insurance. My elder sister was stunned. You mean my Jibwa approached me first, then Yue waited for an opportunity to approach me, knew me, finally married me and killed me? Lie to treasure is very strange speculation, but my sister's eyes are dark, especially when I heard that I was killed. Their ID cards may be fake. Elder sister, you try from this aspect. My elder sister stared at me for a long time and then smiled. How do you want to be a little detective? In fact, my sister's job is really a detective, a private detective, but it is completely different from the kind of detective that everyone understands in literature and reality. I don't like my sister's career at all, because my sister has a good brain, but she has no academic qualifications. At that time, the family's money could only be used for me and one of her to study. When I was senior high school, she could only do this kind of shady work to support me. My elder sister exchanged my thoughts with a gentle voice. I turned my head and was surrounded by my elder sister with a scarf. He kissed me through thick cashmere. Thank you for being on my side. I've always been on your side. I won't go far in my life, stupid sister. After winter, the first spring flower opened. I stood in front of the window. The ice under the summer festival and the indoor heating were steaming. I like the white fog. The child next to me is doing exercises. This is my last job in the summer before graduation. I work part-time as a tutor. Compared with the last time I saw her, he has half a head of white hair and his eyes are still sharp. It is better to be polished by years and more difficult to deal. The sight of the middle-aged police officer fell on the hands of my sister Xiong and me, and became somewhat playful. Long time no see, your brother and sister's feelings are still so good. We haven't seen Han Shaohan and Xiaoyan for more than 7 years. You two haven't changed much in the past so long. My sister and I were sitting on the side of the sofa. The middle-aged police officer smiled at us. The lines in the corners of our eyes were so kind that people could not explore the truth. I remember when I was in charge of your parents' case, your brother was still in senior high school, and he was good at comparing his waist position. I was also a fledgling policeman at that time, but I still haven't been able to find out the disappearance case. This is a knot in my heart for so many years as a policeman. So I don't like to deal with old policemen who are over 50 years old. They know the skills of communicating with people and how to spy on people's hearts. My sister is obviously more sophisticated than me. Officer Lee, is that pennant you have for me? I was only doing you a small favor, and I'm sorry you even came to visit. My sister smiled, but the middle-aged man's eyes were always tight, and he smiled for a long time. Thank you for your assistance in arresting Yu Wei and his related criminal gangs. This case will be held next week. If you are interested, you can also attend. She handed the pennant to my sister, who reached out to pick it up, but she stopped handing it halfway through. But then again, after all these years of your parents' disappearance, have you two found anything new? I suddenly stood up. The tea table shook slightly because of my movements. Police Lee looked at me with great interest. Sorry, the water in the kitchen should be open. I'll make you a cup of tea. My steps were a little flustered. I opened the kitchen door and closed it. I gasped when I washed my hands. My heart was beating too fast. Why was the case brought up again? It was because I gave my sister a clue and she happened to meet Officer Lee. Has the timeline changed? Clearly, my sister and I have just started to get on the right track and live a normal life. I have to keep my hands open and let the pain drag back to my senses. She sighed. Silly. It seems that many words can be hidden in the action, just like my sister kissing me. If everything in the world has a temperature, then I hate such a warm summer. Eat first. I hook her waist. What's for dinner, sister? We mixed up each other's predicates. A string of bicycle bells rang outside the house, and whose choking pepper fragrance slipped through the window. But I know this person's summer is coming to an end, so I had to race against time to kiss her. I want to rub her into the heart, engraved on the head, a lifetime will not forget. I called my sister and asked her if she was free to attend my graduation ceremony. My sister whispered perfunctorily on the other end of the phone. I don't know. Tomorrow I seem to have entrusted guests to find cats. If you don't come, you will die. I clenched my teeth. Dangerous. He laughed. How to die? I don't want you in my life. He was silent at the other end of the phone, and then commented that it was indeed an irreparable death. In fact, I still don't know if my sister will come, but I am an outstanding graduate who will speak on stage. My elder sister earned the money I studied, but my elder sister secretly saved the money by eating 1 month's leisure food and steamed bread without telling me. It was her Superman called sister, who earned it a little bit from a difficult environment that I didn't even think. I want him to at least know that his brother is still up to something. But when I really came to the stage, the audience was full of people. I didn't see my sister before I went to the stage. I don't know if he would hide in this head, but I still mentioned it in my speech. First of all, I want to thank my sister. Without my sister, I can't go today. I don't think he heard it at all. He probably went to help the client find the cat. I can understand my sister more. After all, I still owe her. When I got off the stage, someone stood in front of me, as if to send flowers to my boyfriend. Until I found out that this person had a face of my elder sister. I was stunned that it was the first time I received flowers from my elder sister. Sister smiled at me, and Shaohan, rose whiteboard. I in the 15 minutes when my sister and I walked through the thin playground, I counted that a total of 40 boys glanced at her, and 10 boys came to ask for her WeChat and treated me like air. I began to be glad that my elder sister had not stayed on the university campus, otherwise I would not have any rival in love. At the beginning, many graduates on the playground were taking photos. I pulled my sister's sleeve and wrote about us and Zhong. I seldom take pictures with Ruyan Liu, because I always felt that there was nothing to take pictures with my sister, who was a control freak. This was the first time I wanted to leave something with her. She looked down at her eyelids. The emotion in my sister's eyes was too warm. I was a little glad that this was a crowded playground. A little girl took some photos for us. When she returned her cell phone to me, the little girl smiled at me. "You and your girlfriend are very suitable." "Thank you. I didn't deny it. I also think my girlfriend and I are very suitable." When she said my sister was my girlfriend, her eyes wanted to eat me. "What did you say?" For the first time, the summer wind rolled up a stream and raised her skirt. My elder sister never belongs to my youth, but she is more than anyone who has passed. In the alley, the summer wind passed through the hall. My elder sister put me against the wall and kissed me. "For the first time, you said that I was your girlfriend." I have been waiting for this sentence for a long time, and my legs are getting soft. Life seems to have entered a good cycle. My sister and I kept silent about something. When we woke up in the morning, we brushed our teeth from left to right. The mirror reflected our shadows. We went to our own classes. Sometimes she would pick me up with a bouquet of delicate white roses, and sometimes I would bring her my latest cuisine. It's often my explanation. I call this revenge. Later, the plum rainy season in summer was always pouring rain, and our travel plans were cancelled. Since I can't go anywhere, I have to hug and sleep. When I woke up, the heavy rain outside the window was still knocking on the window. The sunset glow rushed into the rain, and the advertising lights on the street and a guest lit up in turn. My elder sister kept this posture all the time. She dialed my broken hair. "Why?" Shung asked me. I bowed my head and kissed her lip. One night I went home early. It was my sister's birthday. I was going to give her a surprise, so I sneaked into her study and said it was a study. In fact, it was more like a pile of books. The place where I used to take the exam to do the topic is now used by my sister for office work. I was going to secretly hide the gift for her in the cupboard. When I opened the drawer, I accidentally glanced at the white paper in the corner of the table. In fact, it was originally a very ordinary white paper, but it was obvious that someone had written something on the pad paper before, leaving a little mark. I stared at the pencil that rolled aside. I took the pencil and drew it according to the man's seal. It should be the information written on it by my sister that slowly emerged along the thousands of grey traces. The 9/17 hairpin seems to be the date when the house in our hometown started to be flattened. My heart was suddenly pulled into the endless ice cave, and no one knew what secrets were hidden in the old house. In my last life, I didn't even live to the day when the old house was demolished, but the closer and closer numbers and my scared heart were dragged down until the peaceful and light voice pulled back my thoughts. "Han, what are you doing?" My sister looked at my sister calmly by the door frame. I subconsciously pulled down the marked paper and crushed it. My sister held up the paper ball in my hand to see what it was for her. I threw the paper ball into the garbage can. My sister's eyes were like the most soap-colored glaze in the world. How could I have the heart to break her? I leaned over and tore the corners of his lips, and he let me run amok, even around my neck. "Sister, happy birthday." I gently said to her. "Give her the prepared gift." A photo album made up of our photos, my sister and I solemnly put it on the shelf beside the refrigerator. "Only two." He said with slight self-deprecation that it would be full. I picked up the camera in the picture. My sister was beside me. Behind us was a candle lit slightly on the cake. It was my sister's 26th birthday. That day was still with her. In fact, every day before I was with her, I was so greedy, but 9/17 is like a spell, eating away at what little summer my sister and I have left. The day before the demolition of my hometown house on September 16th, I came to the police station. My sister was on a business trip today. I came secretly and called Officer Lee before coming. "Yo, haven't you contacted me for a long time? He seems to be able to do anything." "Officer Lee, I'm turning myself in. I think I'm throwing a bombshell." As a policeman, he paid attention to it with 12 points. As a result, he not only didn't bring me a silver bracelet, but also invited me to go upstairs for tea with her. "Officer Lee, do you hear what I have to say?" I said. "I'm turning myself in." He paused. "Do young people nowadays regard the law as a joke?" "I'm turning myself in to have proof that I committed a crime." "Okay." The setting sun fell under the long and boundless shadow of the stairs, and the policeman stood at the top of the stairs staring at me, for a moment as if a sharp sword had pierced me. I settled down and said to him word by word, "I killed my adoptive father and mother. When I was 12 years old, they were angry with me and got into the wall of my old house. The evidence is that my house will be demolished tomorrow. You should be able to see their bodies. It was a long look at each other, and I hated the insight and penetration of eyes that could see through everything. I like my elder sister, whenever she looks at me gently. That's interesting. The middle-aged officer laughed, but I couldn't laugh. The sword of justice finally made a trial punishment to me. That had abandoned my sister's own. Your sister and brother took turns to come from the head, didn't they? However, your sister is 1 day earlier than you. Your family was demolished today, not tomorrow. Your sister lied to you. She was locked up in the detention center yesterday and has now been taken to the scene for DNA comparison test. The test results are coming out. Do you want to go with me to see who is the real culprit? No wonder my sister, who never travels on business, made a rare mistake. No wonder my sister didn't delve into what was written on the paper ball, because that was for me. No wonder I had lunch yesterday. My sister looked at me and wanted to eat me. It was clear that she would never see me again. I don't know how I got into the police car with Officer Lee, and I don't know what he said in my ear. The wind outside the window crossed the silent street scene. For the first time, I wanted to rob my sister. They said that the beginning of autumn had arrived and my summer had gone. My name is Liu Ruyan. That year I was 3 years old. Besides, he didn't cry or make noise, saying that the place where he stole me was in the commercial street next to the university in the city. Traffickers with cultural genes promoted me like a product, but the adoptive parents were still bargaining, and finally the trafficker said, "The child you lost is Liu Ruyan, right? Unfortunately, this child is able to recall your children." The adoptive father vomited on the ground, spat, rubbed his nose. What kind of shit? But they finally bought me because I was cheap. It seems that other people can't remember what happened in their childhood, but my impression is very deep. I feel that it hurts every day. Sometimes it is hurt by my mother's inexplicable beating, sometimes it is hurt by the dog at home, and sometimes it is too hungry to bear. When I was 8 years old, Ruyan was recovered. Yes, Ruyan Liu is their biological child. That night, I was driven to the pigsty by my mother to sleep and saw her. She was actually no better than me. She was dirty, but her eyes were very beautiful. I had never seen such beautiful eyes, like her mother. In fact, I like my mother, because although my mother always punches and kicks me, my mother gives me food. There is no one in my world who is good to me. The mother who gives me food is the best. I hate Ruyan Liu, because after she came back, my mother didn't give me any food. I really grabbed food with Jiozhu. Later, Ruyan Liu secretly gave me her meal. She said that I was your elder sister. I had never learned to speak and renovate tone to her tone. I hate Liu Ruyan, but I subconsciously attached to her. I think Ruyan Liu robbed me of everything, but Ruyan Liu let me survive. So one day, I happened to take the initiative to take her hand. I looked at the girl's pupils slowly dilated. That year, she was 13 and I was 10. I don't know what kind of broken, empty, and paranoid feelings my sister has always embraced for me. All I know is that my elder sister is the first in the county. My elder sister is very clean. My elder sister is different from me. I hate her even more. However, I was slammed on my back by the woman with a wine bottle and hit my hair against the wall. My body was covered with scabs. Only my elder sister pulled me into her room to wipe my medicine. Her cold knuckles crossed the wound on my back. I looked up at the moon. That night, my sister held me in her arms. I don't know what kind of decision she made that night at the age of 15. A small rural house full of strange smells. I still live in pain every day, because my mother began to do strange things. My father dragged me out of the room and beat me, and my sister remained silent. I only remember one day when my father beat me to the ground. I lost a tooth and fell at my sister's feet. I looked up at my sister and said, "Save me." My sister's pupils trembled, and I blamed her for her indifference. But at that time I didn't understand that it was her biological parents, and they were on the side. My mother hides in her room every day to suck those white powder-like things. My father is also crazy. She keeps losing gambling and sells everything she can sell at home. The world has been distorted, and the only clear thing in that constantly stirring world is Liu Ruyan. She took the county level 3 good students. Her brain is very good, only to stay in his arms I feel at ease, but I can still blame her for not being able to save it. I don't know some things she secretly planned for a year. Dad lost all his money and finally had to mortgage the house. She had to borrow money to build another smaller self-built house. My mother was very gentle that day, Hans Frauhan. You have to earn money to build a big house for your parents. My mother was thin on white powder and lost her mind. My father was drunk and the world turned upside down. He poured black paint into my feet and tore them off. I felt so painful. It turned out that my mother was pulling my scalp. I felt as if my teeth had fallen off again, because my father's wine bottle hit my head and everything was tearing apart. I don't understand. Does this creature exist in the world to suffer? I asked why. Why me? What am I doing wrong? It hurts. Do you know I hurt? But there is no one in the world who loves you. This is what my sister saw when she opened the door after school. My mother choked milk powder in my nose, the wine bottle broke, and my palm was stuck on it to bleed out. The world is not very good, for my sister is like this. When did my mother loosen my hand and when did my father drop his hand? I don't know. I only know that the world is stained with red. Warm liquid is sprayed on my bare skin bit by bit, fireworks are set off outside, and the screams of two adult animals in the room pierce my eardrums. I can't feel it, I can't understand why they are called like this, it's just pain. I have to go through it 100 times every day. I am sure to see the axe in my sister's hand fall and spray wet and warm liquid on my eyelashes. I squinted, my sister expressionless, told me to stand away, really was found, I can't let the police test your DNA. My sister's voice said calmly, I think he will give me another bowl of noodles, as if this is the most ordinary day in the countless days of our sister and brother. That night I washed up, put on my favorite clothes, sat at the table and cleaned the house inside and outside, and put a bunch of flowers in a tattered vase. My sister was mixing in the kitchen, building lime mud on the new wall, and everything was taken care. My sister rubbed my head and I knew. The next day I cried and went to the police station to call the police. The police uncle's parents didn't come back for 2 days. I was so scared. Are your parents missing, dead? Neither my sister nor I know. That year my elder sister was 19 and I was 16. My elder sister said she would earn money to support me, but he never told me. The moment before entering the house, she stuffed her college acceptance letter into her pocket. A loud explosion awakened my thoughts. It turned out that there were fireworks on some festivals today. I looked up and stared at the brilliance that exploded all over the sky, falling on everyone's eyebrows and eyes, in the long river where the background lights converged. My sister wore handcuffs and was accompanied by a police officer. Standing not far away, more than half of her house was knocked off. Police officers coming and going kept taking pictures. Did my sister see me? I don't know. In fact, she can see me accurately every time. At my last graduation ceremony at home where I was making up lessons for students, I took a quick step forward. The neon lights fell on my face. I was worried. I was the most unforgettable eyebrow eye in my life. She's crazy, she's the one who's going to lock me up for a disagreement, and he's the one who's had a heart for me since he was 12. Will you turn back, forget the body held by my sister and the charming kisses in the dark, so that all this has nothing to do with you? But why do I love him so much? I walked faster and faster. I began to run, crossing layers of neon lights and the stars scattered by fireworks. I heard human voices. Sheer foam blew through my sister standing on the high platform. I rushed to kiss her and turned around my mouth. Fireworks fell one by one. In fact, I was in boundless darkness, and my sister was my only star. You have to allow me to kiss her at the end, because she is my only orangutan. A police officer rushed to separate us. My sister lowered her eyes. She didn't say a word to me. I was like a stranger pestering her. Lige, this is not to make you an accessory. Officer Lee lit a cigarette beside me. I stared at the fireworks in the sky and said softly, my adoptive father almost violated me. My adopted mother was forcing me to wash white powder. Why don't they deserve to save my sister? Why don't you go get them? Is it because of incompetence? Officer Lee, he ignored me. Emotional, murderer law, it's the law. I regret not being able to tie those two to prison, but whether they should die or not is a matter of legal judgment. Well, that's nice. I opened my chin to look out the window, the streamer lit deep black eyes. Law? Why is there no law in the world to protect my brother's sister? No one answered my words. I looked down for a long time, turned to ask the police officer Lee beside me, my sister seems to be a mental derangement, can she reduce her sentence? I always feel that my elder sister has lost weight. After coming out of prison, she seems to be more indifferent to me. This is 3 days after I took my sister home. I don't know if it was the reason why I cut my hair short. She was a little less gentle and more cold and bright. At 6 o'clock in the morning, my elder sister woke up on time. I set the alarm clock to get up so early, because I was afraid that my elder sister would run away directly and scramble to make a bowl of porridge for me. Thank my elder sister for saying thank you to me. She didn't say thank you to me when our relationship was the coldest before. I stood there watching my elder sister drinking porridge with a straight eye. My mother also came down the stairs. Are you used to the room Xiaoyan prepared for you? I was found by my biological mother, and my sister was sentenced to 7 years for intentional injury. Within the DNA comparison and on-site investigation results, the death of men and women was not a caress, but a glass fragment of beer. The police speculated that it was a stress reaction triggered by the shock my adoptive mother received after taking a large amount of psychotropic drugs. The DNA found in the fatal wound of my adoptive father was also my adoptive mother's. That is, it was in fact my adoptive mother who caused the death of my adoptive father and committed suicide. The reason why my sister and I have different degrees of deviation in our memory is probably because the bloody scene has caused mental trauma to me, and my sister and my adoptive mother has a bag of white powder to be forcibly fed to me in her hand. My sister performed well and was released 2 years in advance. During these 5 years, thanks to the assistance of Officer Lee, I found my biological father and mother. They are both university professors and have not given up on me for decades. The moment she saw me, my mother held me in her arms and cried out of breath. Only then did I know that I, who was abandoned and trampled on in this way, was also the person on the other side of the world who was thinking about my parents day and night. My parents were very kind to me and were willing to satisfy everything. I lived in a big house with stairs for the first time and used a bathroom with a bathtub for the first time, and my parents knew that when I was with Ruyan Liu, they didn't hinder me from being with Ruyan Liu. I thought my sister and I were kind of bitter. The day I picked up my sister's release from prison, I kept sharing it with her. I found my mom and dad, and I have a family, elder sister. I took an examination of a teacher's qualification certificate and can become a teacher next month. ASA result, she said 4 words to me in the past 3 days. Okay, thank you. I think I'm going to be bored. My former sister is not like this. She will smile at me, coax me, and tell me love words gently. But now he hasn't even said the 3 words I miss you to me. There was a knock on the bedroom door. It was my sister. I thought she came to make up with me, or finally figured out to say something nice to me. ASA result, she was wearing clothes and carrying a bag of clothes to go. Lonely Cole said to uncle and aunt, don't disturb you, I have to go. He really wants to go. His brother is still standing in front of him, and he is going to go. My heart seems to have been rubbed severely. I am angry. Where are you going? I asked him to go home. He dropped his eyes. Not a cocoon. This is also your home. I grabbed her. Since I found my biological father and mother, don't call my sister. Her cold voice seemed to go straight through my heart. You're not. I'm a little choked. Then I'm at least your boyfriend. I tugged at his sleeve. I don't believe my sister didn't even admit it. This man used to be crazy because of my boyfriend. ASA result, she was silent for a while and then removed my hand. I have been in for 5 years. I haven't communicated with her for 5 years. What kind of boyfriend is she? I looked at her in disbelief. Not elder sister, what's wrong with you? I'm really angry. I still have a little bit of panic. It's not normal when you come back. I didn't expect her to throw me off, but I was so angry that it happened. There was a wooden barb on the other side of the door that appeared for a long time. My aunt scratched on it and drew a blood mark. It looked scary. Blood began to pop out. My sister's eyes shook obviously. She immediately lifted me up and helped me bandage the wound. But when she got up again and was about to leave, I grabbed her wrist. Sister, don't go, okay? No one here hates you. I love you. My parents can love you, so don't want to escape. Hearing this, he put down his bag and luggage and sat beside me. Good sister not to go. Perhaps it was the reason why I was too excited these days. I fell asleep groggy. I didn't expect to sleep until the afternoon of the next day. I was woken up by my mother's shouts. I turned around the room and couldn't find the sound of Ruyan Liu. However, my mother told me that Ruyan Liu said to buy me delicious food. She went out last night and hasn't come back yet. I don't understand why my sister still thinks like this, why she changed when she came back from prison. In the afternoon, the sun was warm and sprinkled on the sofa. My mother sat beside me and was caught off guard. I still couldn't resist. My nose was sore and I didn't want me. I probably figured it out in prison and felt that I didn't deserve her. My mother reached out and rubbed my back. I don't think such people can always think of themselves when they see other people's happiness. You mentioned Xiaoyan's family to me. I think maybe she saw you think of herself. Does she think she is not worthy of you? I looked at my mother, Xiaoyan. The child looked at you with love, but always filled with sadness. Perhaps it would be better for her to look at you from a distance than to bring it to you. I listened thoughtfully to my mother's words. She patted me on the shoulder and handed me the car keys. Do you want to give each other courage? There is no match or unmatch in this world. You are very important to me, and you are the most suitable for me. Where can my sister go? Where can my sister's house be? The setting sun fell into the afterglow of the old community, and her only place to stay was the home where I had lived with her for more than 10 years. I have the key. When I opened the door, a smell of wine came to my face. My sister drinks. I never think she drinks too much. I quietly pass by barefoot, some messy pile of slippers. Every month I come here to clean up. The house will not be too dirty. Bottles and jars are poured at the table, and the woman is lying on the ground drunk. I walked up to her and looked at the things she was holding in her hand, the photo book of me and her, and the last birthday present I gave her. I shook him up. She squinted. I sat in front of her and asked her why she didn't shout. Her eyes immediately turned No don't. I looked at her drunk, a little vicissitudes of life, eyes still, some empty eyes staring at me. Then why leave her? Because she doesn't need a sister. I heard her whisper that she didn't need it. If she was with her sister, others would talk about why he was with a man who had been in prison. Can't do this, he must be good. I fiddled with her bangs. If she doesn't care, open her eyes and look at me, but others care about me and can't let my brother be humiliated by rumors. I held his face and looked into his eyes. Ji Han, love you. Ruyan Liu smiled wryly. What is that? That's because only her sister loved her before, so she loved her. But now she has a father and a mother, she has a family, she is loved, and her sister's love has nothing to offer. I think my sister is getting drunk. Why doesn't she smell bad at all? Why am I still so greedy? I looked into his eyes and said, but the place with you is my home. She laughed. No. I raised his chin and kissed her. The tip of her tongue was tangled. She suddenly opened her eyes and saw me for a moment. I had a dream. I heard her say, what sister can you do to me? I was pressed to the ground by her kiss. I heard her say a lot of things to me. I miss you so much. Don't go. What if I love you? I like you so much that he told me everything I wanted to hear. In the silent night, I have interpreted the boredom with me countless times in this person's room, the damp night demeanor into the boundless black. My stars light up again, stir up the night to loosen emptiness, bring up a pool of tulle, immersed in the sweet dream. The next day, my elder sister estimated that she would go again. I played the recording of last night to a woman standing by the bed with a cold face. It was all her coquetry words to me. Han Xiaohan, I love you so much. Don't go. I'll go to her. Yao Meijie, you are not the same person day and night. The woman's dark eyes were empty for a long time, and she threw herself at me after sighing. Ji Han, from now on, it is useless for you to regret. Full text finished.